Patterns, synchronicities. What's that about? Well, good morning, my friends. It's John here on the back deck, um, having a beautiful mug of coffee, enjoying another beautiful, beautiful day out here. I so enjoy being outside. I just love the fresh air, and sometimes the studio can seem so dark, and I just like the bright light and the vitamin D that's soaking into this bald head of mine. Patterns, synchronicities, things of spiritual oddity. Oftentimes, people will ask me about the synchronicities that happened, or they'll talk about the 444 or the all of these little things that show up in our lives as patterns. What I find interesting about the patterns and the synchronicities is people, when they look at synchronicities and patterns, they tend to look at it in a linear time frame, as if it's something ahead of them pulling them. When in reality, the synchronicities and the patterns come from your belief and the things that you're creating. But if you're unconscious about the creation, the patterns can seem like these synchronicities simply coming into your life. But when you come to realize that you are creating in every moment, be it conscious or unconscious, you start to realize that rather than think of these synchronicities as something out of your control and some things that are happening, think of them as, okay, what was I thinking that brought this synchronicity into my life? What am I thinking that made these certain things happen? I've told many stories about, you know, manifesting a fixed tooth. My tooth broke off and somebody called and I said, well, she says, how are you? I said, well, my tooth just broke off. And that led to giving me information that ended up getting me a tooth for free. So it comes down to this idea of I was thinking about creating this perfect tooth. In fact, I declared a perfect tooth. I could never have known the synchronicities that would have led me to that at the moment. But the belief itself was the thing that started the motion. You are a creative machine. You create with every belief you have. The question is, are you conscious about the beliefs you have? Are you conscious that as you create through belief, you started motion. Things are starting to come. The 444 thing. Now I had nothing with 444 at all until I read Nick Bunick's book, which had 444 all through it. And then 444 became this huge prevalent thing. I mean, repetitive numbers became a huge prevalent thing with me. It came down to, once Nick's book came out, then Doreen Virtue came out with her angel numbers book. And then everyone started talking about the synchronicities of numbers. Then people started writing their own versions of what the numbers mean. And they started creating all these things. But it wasn't really until somebody started using it in their book that those numbers became a thing. The synchronicities of it. Now, what happens is many people read that book or they read Doreen's book, and now in their subconscious mind, they have this awareness that numbers themselves are something outside of their experience or some message from beyond. And what happens is now synchronistic numbers start showing up because we believe they have power. That belief creates them into our experience. People will look at astrology and they'll say, this star's placement means this star's placement means this star's placement means this. Some people will tell you they mean that. Somebody else will tell you they mean something entirely different. And whichever version you subscribe to will be the version that you believe. And so you'll start to see patterns of personality in the stars based upon your belief. Many years ago, a friend of mine got really into numerology. And she said, what's your numbers? And I gave her my birth dates, and she figured out my number, and she read me the chapter on my number. Then she realized that she had did the math wrong, and she was reading about a different number, wrong number. What was so interesting was, as she's reading it, I can see patterns in that about myself. Right now, people are going to say, well, it was synchronistic that she read the wrong one. Then she read the one about me, and I could see patterns in that. I could see patterns in all of them because of my belief. I was hearing her read something that was supposed to be about me. So my belief was, I'm looking for myself in this. I am looking for myself. And so the synchronicities, the ideas, the concepts show up into my experience. It comes back to this idea that you are forever creative. And when you get to the point where you're realizing that you're forever creative, the synchronicities stop being synchronicities and they start being signs of manifestation. And you shift it into the sign of manifestation. And so once you start coming from that perspective, then you start to expect these things. And then they're no longer synchronistic, they are part of a creation. It's a matter of changing your perspective about the idea that they are out of your control or that some divine force is handing them to you. It's a matter of realizing that when you start to see synchronicities, uh, and most synchronicities are recognized in hindsight. Most synchronicities are recognized in hindsight. It's very rare you recognize a synchronicity in the moment. You can look back and see a pattern of how things happened. You go, look, this was a synchronicity that happened this way. It's a synchronicity based upon your creation. You are the creator of the experience. What you think you become, you create your world. You are the culmination of your thought. As a man thinketh, so is he. Your thoughts are creating your experience. And when you are unconscious about what you're creating, things come into your experience. And then we start looking at them as deliveries from a benevolent being who's delivering them to us. Where in reality, we're one with that benevolent being. We're one with God. We are part of God. We are an essential part of God because it's the experience of the world is God and I as one. The kingdom of heaven is within me and within you, and we are one. And it comes down to this idea of, just as Jeshua said, you must become one with me as I am with the Father. When I put something out through a belief, be it conscious or unconscious, somebody else in the oneness may be the person who brings me the synchronicity that brings the outcome. So it really comes down to understanding that you, as a creator, are affecting not only yourself, but all the people in the oneness of God will start to bring that information to you, or start to bring that synchronicity to you, start to bring that information to you, and they'll do it through the concepts of their own synchronicities, things that they're talking about. But creation is manifestation, creation, same thing. Manifestation is the word we use nowadays. It's manifestation, law of attraction. That's simply the marketing of creation. We create with every thought and every moment. And when you think about this idea of we're creating with every thought and every moment, the universe, God, is going to give it through the path of least resistance. And oftentimes the path of least resistance will be someone in your life who's done something else or has some aspect, or you know, seeing that 444 o'clock at the right time might give you the impetus to make another decision. But it always started with a belief that you had, and seeing the synchronicities in hindsight is a validation, because in hindsight it happened. Right? You see the synchronicities. I like to think of it as like when I'm creating things into my life, I don't think of the word how, because how is not my job. My job is to simply believe and create. How is the universe's job, God's job. God creates it through the path of least resistance into my experience. And 9 times out of 10, you'll see amazing synchronicities. That's why years ago I gave myself permission to enjoy how things happen after the fact, to look back at it, see the synchronicities, see the things behind me, and realize that the whatever you put faith in, be it a channel, a tarot reader, astrology, numerology, whatever you put faith in, that's going to become part of your belief system. And what you believe, you receive. What you believe comes into your life. So start to realize that when you put faith in something, you're going to see synchronicities and results from that belief. When you strip all this away, you find the oneness of God, and it's really clear because you're suddenly in a world where everything is just so beautiful and so caring and so loving, and there is no need for the synchronicities. You just become this expression of belief in creation, and it's a beautiful expression. Yeah, does that mean that when you get to that space, you're not going to have your moments of messing up or being unhappy? Or no, you're going to have those moments too. Just to be here in the physical experience is to experience, and you experience through those things. And so step into that power and realize that even in the moments where things don't seem to be going right, that you can still say, okay, this belief brought me to here, and now I'm changing my belief. I'm creating something new. And I'm going to joyfully watch how things come into my experience because I believe differently. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.